good afternoon, good evening. My name's Robert. I'm RCRedBaron, and today I'd like to just go over something that I found on HobbyKing that I find very interesting, works well, but I think that needs a little bit more explanation on how to use. We're talking about HobbyKing's WingCam. This is a small HD camera. You can put it on your wing, you can put it on your, you can slap it on your hat for a hat cam. This little camera records in 1280 by 720, so it's a 720i, which is high definition. The screen is about 120 degrees, so it's a nice, good angle screen. The quality so far has been really, really excellent. Now, one of the key things to remember with this little camera, when you see it online, they recommend that you use a Class 6 micro SD card. They're a little bit hard to find. You might have to order online, but it's important that you do try to use a Class 6. I've tested it with Class 2s, Class 4, Class 6, Class 10. Now, you might be thinking, what in the world is a Class 6, Class 4? And for those of you that don't know, it is a recording speed that the card can handle. So the faster the camera is, the more information it's trying to record. It needs to transfer that data from the camera into your micro SD card. So if your card can't handle the faster speeds, it's not going to get really smooth and quality video. And one of the things I noticed with using a Class 4, which is a pretty common one, Class 2, Class 4 is what you usually find at your big box stores, you know, in your retail stores. While the video is okay, it's not bad, and if you're going to throw it on your wing, it might be okay because you're not going to have the sound anyway. But I do notice with a Class 4, the audio has a hard time keeping up in sync with your video. So what I've been using is a Class 6. I found it online, very inexpensive. I'm actually using an 8 gig Class 6 card, and the way you can tell what class it is, and I'm going to try to see if I can't focus in here real close and see if it'll show up. There's a little circle right down here in the bottom, and that little circle has a number in it. And it'll either have a 2, a 4, a 6, a 10. And this one actually had a 6 if you couldn't see it. And that's how you know what class it is. Now, if it doesn't have that little number with the circle around it, then chances are it's probably a Class 2 or a Class 4. If it's a 6 or a 10, everyone I've found, they have that circle with the number on it. So now you know how to identify the cards, what cards you need. But what I found is that the instructions that you can download from HobbyKing, they're actually meant for what this came out of. So it's a little difficult to understand how the buttons work, what buttons do I hit. I've got a date stamp on there. So what I'm going to do for you is I'm actually going to plug this into my computer. I'm going to go through how to do the menu settings, what each of the buttons do, so that way you can see exactly how to program and use your WingCam from HobbyKing. Okay, so the first thing we're going to look at is you've got the whole camera here, and you actually have the 3 buttons. These are actually the buttons you're going to use whether you're using it as the camera or you're trying to program it. On the back side here, you actually have where the SD card slides in and out. You can see right here. Okay, so the SD card slides in and out of here. Then you also have your USB port. This is basically for charging. And then this other little circle over here, the opening, is actually where you're going to put your AV cord and plug it into your TV so that you can program. This little device over here is actually how it vibrates. So every time you hit a program button, it'll actually vibrate, letting you know that it's accepted the programming. Now, some people are like, well, which way is up and which way is down? You'll notice I have the Velcro on this side to keep it away from my buttons. And the Velcro actually sits, whatever you're flying on, will sit like this. So this would be on the top of the wing. So this is right side up, so you can see the buttons, right side up. So, now how do you get it going? This is super simple. This very first button, now here's your micro SD card. So this is button 1. I'm going to hold that button down for just a second. You'll notice the blue light coming on. It should vibrate. There it goes. Okay, it just vibrated, so now it's on and it's ready to record. And in order to record, the next step is very simple. You press the enter button, and it's now flashing blue. This means it is now recording. So it is recording onto the micro SD Class 6 card. When you're done recording, hit that middle button again. It's the on and off, and you notice the blue light is now steady. So I've now recorded one video clip, and I'm done. I'm going to put it away for now and put it on a different plane later. So again, I'm going to use the off button. Hold it down for a second, it flashes, and it's off. Now you notice I'm not using this button up here. This button up here I'm not concerned about. I'm not going to use it, only for when I'm ready to program the camera. Now we're ready to go ahead, and I'm going to connect this to the computer and show you how to actually program, because when you first get these, everything is set except for your date, and you have a date stamp on your video. Some people like the date stamp, some people don't. If you don't like the date stamp, I'm going to show you how to turn that off. If you do like the date, I'm going to show you how to program and turn the date to the correct date and time, so that at least when you do have it on there, it's the right one. So let's go ahead and hop on the computer and let's show you a demo of how to do this. Okay, so with your camera came a cord. It's an AV cord. This is yellow is your video, white is your audio. The other side, this is the side that's going to plug into your camera. So we're going to plug that right into the AV port here. Now everything we reference on this is going to be referenced to the front and the back as far as up and down. So these buttons will correlate with up toward your cord, even though it's backwards from the lens, but this is up, this is down, and this is going to be your enter button. So everything we do, enter, up, down, and remember your up is toward your cord. So when you're doing this at home and you're at your TV, just face this toward your TV with the cord going toward your TV. That way you got up, enter, and down. Alright, so now we have the camera with the AV cord plugged into the TV. And now we're going to go through, you got to make sure that you have your micro SD card in, otherwise the device will actually turn off because it doesn't see a card inside the camera. So once we got the card in, it's plugged in the TV, it's time to turn it on. Again, it's this first button. I'm going to hold it down for a second. The light lights up. I should get a buzz here in a second. Alright. And the pink light comes on, and that indicates that we now have a signal. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I want to actually, now on your TV it may show that there's no video is what's going to show on the screen. So I'm actually going to hold down the center button, and this is going to be for the menu. So I'm going to hold down the center button here for a second and let go. It vibrates. So now on your screen you should actually see this menu, and it's going to show your setup menu. Now again, your middle button is for enter, the top button is for up, the bottom button is for down. So all you simply have to do is, we're going to be working on the first one actually right there, we'll start with that one, is your quality. If you hit the center button for enter, you'll notice now it says fine, standard, and economy. I'm going to leave it on fine because obviously I want the best quality I can get out of the camera. So I'm going to hit enter again to lock that in. Now I'm going to go ahead and scroll down. Here's the date input. So now you can actually hit the enter button, which is the center button again. And if we hit this center button, it's going to go into the menu. And it's going to either off or set, and we want to set it. So I use the down button. And now I hit the center button for enter. And the first line you have is how do you want it to display. So here it's starting out, it's going to show how do you want the month, date, and the year to display. So depending on where you are and what you're used to. For me, I'm in the States, I'm very used to month, date, and year. But if you want to change it, just hit the up or down arrow. And I'm going to hit the up arrow, and you can see now it's day, month, year, year, month, day. But again, I like month, day, and year. So now I'm going to hit the enter key to lock that in. Now it goes down to the month, and today's August the 8th, 2011, but it's very easy, up or down. Once again, very simple. Once you're done with the date, hit enter, and now it goes to the day. Again, I can go up, there's the 9th, nope, set it back to the 8th, lock it in by hitting the center enter button. Again, for the year, it's going to probably start out with 2007. So you hit the up or down, okay, hit back in the up, there we go, lock that in. And now we come down, and this is in a 24-hour format. So right now it's 0900. It's kind of military. So if you go up, if it's in the, right now it's 9 o'clock in the morning. But if I need to go up, you'll notice that it continues over to 1300. So it's a 24-hour clock system. So if you're not familiar with it, the PMs start at 1300. So that would be, there's 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, midnight. Again, it's 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 3 a.m., and let's bring it back around to my 9 a.m. So that's my hours. Lock it in. There's my minutes at 22 minutes. And the seconds, which you really don't have to mess with that. Okay, so once that is all set, in order to exit out of the set system, you simply hold down the Enter key, the middle button, hold it down for a couple seconds, and you'll notice it now it's back to the main menu. So now I'm going to continue down. I'm going to be hitting the down arrow. I'm going to continue down the menu. Language is English. System reset. I don't want to reset. Now here's my timestamp. This is whether you want the time to display in your video or you don't want it to display on your video. So I'm going to hit enter, and as you see, off or date and time. So if I want the date and time to be on, I want that highlighted in green, but I don't, so I'm going to go back up to off, and I'm going to hit the enter key, and it is now set. So now I'm done. I'm completely done setting up the camera. I've set the date and time, and I've set my timestamp to be off. Now, you might ask, well, I just want to turn the date stamp off, and I don't have to worry about the date. Well, here's the key about setting your date and time even if you have the date stamp off. If you are recording a video and then you upload it to your computer, it's going to show the wrong date. It's going to show that you recorded this back in 2007, the wrong date and the time. So if you're recording a bunch of videos, this will actually help you sort them because it'll actually have the correct date and time stamp in the video itself, even though it's not displayed on the screen. So that's it. So now I'm completely done with the menu. I'm ready to exit out of it. So I'm going to hold down again the middle button here, and I'm out of the menu. And now I can actually hit the top button, and since we're not in the menu anymore, this top button becomes the on and off. So I'm going to hold down the on and off, let go, and the system is now off. Okay, so now that the system's completely off, I can unplug my AV cable, and this camera is now set with the correct date and time, and also has the timestamp turned off. Alright, so now that we've unplugged the AV cable, you are all set. Your camera is now ready to go. Once again, this records in a 1280 by 720i. It's a high definition. The quality and the coloring is especially vivid. Again, just make sure for the best quality you use at least a Class 6 card like I've used here. And this is an 8 gig, and this is going to give me quite a bit of time to record. Probably a good hour of recording time. So this can handle up to 32 gigs. So if you want to use a much bigger SD card, I don't recommend going anything below a 4 gig. It'll be a little difficult to find a Class 6 lower than an 8 gig anyway. But you can actually get these cards. They're about $11, $12 for an 8 gig Class 6, so it's not bad at all. So thank you again for watching another RCRedBaron video. Hope to see you soon, and hope I've helped you out here just a little.